In the black and green from the Willamette Valley, your kidney thieves are number 111, Grim Carey, 113, Fruit Bat, number 20, Shell Puddawelton, number 208, Megan Me Angry, 220 is Cheery Bomb, number 23, Colonel Battleslut, 330, Sybil Disobedience, number 56, Vitamin D, 666, Pantychrist, number 76, Sci-Fi, 785, JB, number 8, Fleur de Lethal, number 808, Yoga Nabisari, and number 815, Tiny Danger. Kidney Thieves are coached by Abuelito, Fatality, and Sir Brentalot. Once more, let's hear it for the Willamette Kidney Thieves.
And their opponents. For your first bout of the evening, here on this very cold May afternoon, wearing white. My paper here says blue, but my eyes tell me wearing white. Jet City Roller Derby. Number 1 is See Ya Wouldn't Wanna Be Ya. Number 106 is Bombshell. Number 218 is Mini Meats. Number 222 is Silent But Deadly. Number 26 is Nay Slayer. Number 29 is Hut Majesty. Number 4 is Sully Temper. Number 41 is Punk Martha Stewart. Number 40. Number 47 is Adelaide Her Out. Number 51 is Crash Submission. Number 66 is Rampage. Number 700 is Toe Jammer. Number 742 is King Slayer. Number 96 is Jacqueline Hyde. They are coached tonight by MF Chaz and Allie. Friends and fans, give it up for Jet City Roller Derby. I looked over, I'm like, oh, well, Allie's standing over there. I guess I'll say her name.
All right, all right. Question for the crowd. Who is here for the first time and has never seen roller derby before? Do we have anyone new?
New fans!
What?
New fans!
And in the beer garden, which is the place to be.
That is, in fact, the correct place to be. Amazing beverages brought to you by Triple Horn Brewing and Soundbite Cider. And those folks remembered their IDs.
Georgetown Brewing tonight.
Georgetown Brewing tonight.
Yes, yes. All pro, 100% of the proceeds from the beer garden go to Jet City. I'm not saying that you should drink more, but maybe you should.
I will say that. I am saying that.
It's for a good cause.
It's also tasty. I tried the Ginger Loves Perry Ann ginger cider earlier. It was delightful.
The swoopy whistle means we're about to start. And jammers with the stars on their helmets for this jam, Silent But Deadly, and 785 JB. And away we go. For those new to roller derby, the jammers at the stars. First one out of the pack cleanly, meaning inbounds and passing everyone, gets pointed at, and they are the lead jammer. They can now stop the jam if they wish. And on the second and other subsequent passes, they get to pick up points for everyone they pass.
That tap of the hip signals to the official that the jammer in control of the clock indeed is ready for it to stop. Time for a reset, and that is Tiny Danger pulling up to the jammer line. And here comes Toe Jammer wearing the star, ready to score some points for Jet City.
Neither jammer able to pass any other opposing skaters while standing up and inbounds, so no points. We stay tied at 0. But also no one in the penalty box, which I have to keep cranking my neck to see because they moved it.
Toe Jammer out of the pack first is awarded lead jammer status.
Tiny Danger caught up in the pack as Toe comes in on the first scoring run.
Tiny Danger put the star in hand. That is perfectly legal. You just don't get any points unless it's on your head. Toe Jammer makes it through with one scoring pass. First 4 points on the board are for Jet City Roller Derby.
I love the concept of the face shield, but boy, does it make putting that helmet cover on hard. 96 Jacqueline Hyde jamming for Jet City against 111 Grim. Grim carry for the Kidney Thieves.
I feel like there's a cable guy joke in there somewhere.
Yes, there certainly should be. Jacqueline Hyde pushes her on the outside, lead jammer Jet City.
Grim Carey also out of the pack. Both jammers looking to come through and put some more points on the board. Jacqueline Hyde finds a little lane on the outside, squeaks through, picks up all 4, and manages to call the jam before Grim Carey is able to put any points on the board.
I like the fact that we haven't had to explain penalties yet.
You probably just jinxed it, Scott.
I probably did.
That is Crash Smash 'em! They're ready to jam for Jet City.
And number 76, Sci-Fi. 75. My sheet is wrong.
My sheet is also wrong.
I will adjust.
We're going to fix it.
Which means the scoreboard might be wrong, but they got it right over there. All right. Sci-Fi able to get through. Is lead jammer, despite being knocked out of bounds. If the skater's knocked out of bounds, they got to come back in behind the people that they had not passed yet.
Sci-Fi was reabsorbed into the pack. She, however, had lead jammer status already.
And why is
that decided to call the jam off prior to the Jet City Jammer being able to do any further damage. Still looking at 8-0. As Silent but Deadly takes the jammer line for Jet City.
Once again jamming against JB, and we do have our first penalty box visitor. Didn't catch the call. I heard some whistling going on. If you do something illegal, use your block with your arms or with your head or whatever, you end up 30 seconds in the penalty box. Silent but Deadly starting on the inside now to the out. As the pack in a turmoil through, and JB lead jammer for the Kidney Thieves.
Silent but Deadly also having escaped the pack. Coming around in clean air as JB fights her way through a tight Jet City defense there at the front.
JB calls off the jam. 2 points up for Willamette.
Tiny Danger once again taking the jammer line for the Kidney Thieves. Facing off again against Toe Jammer.
Both tag packs full strength. Toe Jammer right through the middle for lead jammer. Tiny Danger clears the pack. Again, struggling to get the helmet cover on. As Toe is through for 4. Now Tiny Danger has the star in place.
Coming around looking to score points, getting the worst of it from Adelaide. Her out there at the front of the pack does eventually manage to escape with 4 points in the sky. Toe Jammer, meanwhile, sneaking through with 4 points of her own.
Tiny Danger hipped out by Bombshell. And Toe calls off the jam.
2-2 there on the last pass, making that I believe it was a 10-6 jam in favor of Jet City, 18-8 your total score. 24 minutes and change left in the half.
Jacqueline Hyde set to jam against Grim Carey. Both jammers trying the inside lane.
Grim Carey bumped to the inside by Hurt Majesty. Does manage just to stay inbound. Squeaks back in, looking for a lane on the outside. Gets bumped out by Rampage. Comes back in legally, just squeaks by Nayslayer there at the front of the pack. Jacqueline Hyde, however, with lead jammer status, already coming in, putting up some points, calling it off immediately. 2-0 jam in favor of the home team.
At 3 points takes us to 21-8. Jet City in the lead.
Once again, sci-fi.
And Crash Smash him.
Sci-fi, one of my favorite genres of literature.
Crash pushes through the front. Clears the pack as lead jammer. Sci-fi hipped out by Bombshell. And a long rollback.
I think Sci-Fi was looking for a call that might have been an out-of-play block. The officiating crew is saying that was just within the engagement zone. You are only allowed to play roller derby within 20 feet of the largest group of skaters containing members of both teams. And if you think that sounds confusing, you are welcome to join our officiating crew. Jet City is always recruiting. You can email us volunteer@jetcityrollerderby.com. We are happy to train you to also do calculus at 30 miles an hour. This is JB. That is silent but deadly. The penalty box is empty.
JB pushing at the front of the pack, stretching it, and called for the high block penalty. Our first jammer penalty of the game.
Also,
Jet City loses 2 blockers to the box.
Blocker penalties on the Jet City side. So even though Silent but Deadly is out on a power jam with lead jammer status, going to be a bit of a hard time getting through, getting by, and not having the offense on your side. Silent but Deadly bump to the inside. Picks up on toe stops, manages to squeak through, putting 4 more points on the board.
Silent but Deadly second scoring pass, trying the outside lane. Georgia Ogief trying to shove things. A direction of play penalty. Called on Punk Martha Stewart.
Gonna go make her way to the penalty box just as it was getting clear.
And JB out of the box is cleared the pack, completing the initial pass. Silent but Deadly third scoring pass done. Calls off the jam, a 12-0 Jet City run, now 37-8.
Tiny Danger once again making her way to the jammer line. Gonna stand next to Toe Jammer. It is deja vu all over again. Save for the fact the Kidney Thieves have a 4-3 pack advantage going to the top of this jam.
Punk Martha Stewart having the penalty box dance party. Tiny Danger, lead jammer, Willamette Kidney Thieves. As Toe held up at the back of the pack. Tiny Danger ducks around the outside to add 4 to the Kidney Thieves score. And Toe Jammer finally clears to complete the initial pass.
Tiny Danger sees Toe Jammer coming. She says, no, thank you. One more point in the bank. That was a 5-0 jam in favor of the Kidney Thieves. 37-13, your total score. Less than 20 minutes are remaining in the half.
So in addition to the free T-shirts, we've also refreshed the merch. You're not going to want to wait. Sweatshirts back in stock. Perfect for the current weather we're having in the early January.
That is Jacqueline Hyde, and she is through with lead jammer status. Larissa Baranski not far behind.
We've changed Grim Carey's name, apparently.
Four to one jam in favor of Jet City. Score is 41-14 as Crash, Smash, and Sci-Fi once again take the jammer line.
It's a palindromic score. Sci-Fi held up on the inside edge. Crash trying to fight through the middle, now tucking to the inside. Sci-Fi Curious forced out of bounds.
Run all the way back by Bombshell.
It's like half the team was off the track.
It was more than half the team. It was more than half of both teams. Meanwhile, Crash Smash'em did manage to sneak through, pick up lead jammer status in the process.
Crash weaving from the outside towards the middle. Now towing along the inside edge, but not able to get through quite yet. And a star pass, our first star pass of the game, the pivot. Skater with the stripe has the superpower of being able to become the jammer. And so Yoga not be sorry, or you're going to be sorry, depending on how you choose to pronounce it, was the jammer for a moment before Crash called it off.
Yoga not be sorry. Right? Names are smarter than the announcers.
Yes.
We do figure it out eventually. This is Silent but Deadly. That is JB. That is an empty penalty box with a pair of NSOs just like so eager for visits from the track.
They're paid on commission basis, so if they don't get visitors, it'll be a long, cold night. JB, clear first, lead jammer, Kidney Thieves.
JB racing around the track, trying to put on some defense, trying to keep Silent but Deadly in the rear view mirror. Florida Lethal gonna go have a seat visiting our amazing NSO volunteers in the penalty box.
JB calls off the jam. A 4-0 run for Silent but Deadly.
Once again, Tiny Danger. Once again, Jacqueline Hyde.
But first, our first timeout.
In fact, timeout is a great time to flag down our volunteers.
That is Saturday, June 7th, right here at the fine Seaview Auditorium.
I may have bought rainbow rhinestone Betsy Johnson sneakers.
Nice.
For that. Maybe. Perhaps.
Tiny Danger and Jacqueline Hyde set to jam. One skater advantage in the pack for Jet City. And Jacqueline Hyde takes advantage. Grabs lead jammer. As Adelaide her out heads to the penalty box, and a cut track called on Tiny Danger.
Yoga also gonna go have a seat in the box for the Kidney Thieves. Power Jam with a 3-3 pack.
And a pack that's doing a nice job of just standing still and then moving. Jacqueline Hyde through for another 4. Calls off the jam, locking Tiny Danger in the penalty box.
Y'all who are new to Derby tonight may notice those folks are standing in the box right now. If the skater is standing in the penalty box, that means they have 10 seconds or less remaining on the penalty they are currently serving. So it is a power start, but it will be a brief one for Toe Jammer.
Also a brief one skater advantage in the pack for Jet City. As Jet works the offense and Toe backwards through the pack, grabs lead Jammer. And we are all back even as the penalty box empties out.
Toe Jammer bumps and grinds, finds the lead there on the inside, comes through around with 4 points in the sky. Tiny Danger out of the pack as well, but that was only the initial pass.
Toe on the outside, bumped out, calls off the jam. Tiny Danger picks up 2. And 2 more for Toe. A 6-2 jam takes us to 67-16.
That is grim. That is Crash Smash 'em. We are once again at 5-on-5 Derby, just like the rule book says. Crash was going to bump to the outside. She's going to have to recycle, but only just. This time, bump to the inside. Lays down like a breakdancer.
That was impressive.
My knees don't do that anymore. No.
My knee is aching in sympathy right now.
Yeah, that hurt just watching it. Meanwhile, Grim Carey got through the pack, was awarded lead jammer status, and is now dancing through the middle.
Nice run by Grim and a star past a bombshell.
Bombshell races Grim Carey back to the pack. Grim Carey denies her the opportunity to put any more points on the board. 4-0 jam in favor of the Kidney Thieves. A silent but deadly. Once again, pulls up to the jammer line, squaring off this time against Sci-Fi.
Split pack to start. Silent but deadly, looking to hop around and just bumped out of bounds.
Gonna get run back there by Pantychrist.
Fighting at the front is Sci-Fi with 3 Jet City blockers to hold. Nayslayer last line of defense. As the pack stretches and stretches.
Silent but deadly sent to the penalty box. I believe I heard a forearm call. And jam there for the Kidney Thieves.
And lead jammer as well. 3-on-3 in the pack. Kidney Thieves trying to sweep forward. Jet City skating to stay ahead. And Sci-Fi Curious through for 4 points.
Sci-Fi once again back in the back, this time looking for the friendly side. Not going to fight it if Rampage has anything to do with it.
And Sci-Fi calls off the jam. 2 points up on that pass. A 6-0 run, I believe. Takes us to Kidney Thieves 26, Jet City 67, 10.5 to go in this half.
Team timeout being called by Jet City. Team timeouts are exactly 1 minute long. And talk about how good it is.
Exactly.
Once again, I mentioned our cider sponsor, Soundbite Cider. He's got 2 different ciders for you tonight over in the beer garden. I personally love the Ginger Loves Perrier. It's a Gilligan's Island reference and also delicious.
Jacqueline Hyde, Tiny Danger. Tiny Danger forced out. Jacqueline also forced out to the inside. Bombshell one-on-one at the back with Tiny Danger. And a forearm penalty being called will thin somebody out of the pack.
I believe that was Cheery Bomb.
There we go. Again, with the, they have to go the other way to get to the penalty box. It's throwing me off.
I know it was Shell Put a Welt on is who is going to the penalty box currently. I saw a 2 and a 0, and I got all confused.
Lead jammer for Jacqueline Hyde picks up 4 points, calls off the jam.
Less than 10 minutes left in the half. Crash Smash 'em once again pulling up to the jammer line.
And that is JB for the Kidney Thieves.
I think it would have been fine. Yeah, I didn't
Hey,
think
break.
it was weird.
Crash smash him out, lead jammer. Jet City Roller Derby. And JB also clear of the pack, and a. I thought Crash was thinking she got called on the penalty, but then it's like, do I call off the jam? Yes, I guess so.
As a matter of fact, penalty was against a member of the Kidney Thieves. Jet City coming into the next jam with a 4-3 pack advantage. Toe Jammer will be the jammer. She just had not yet applied the star to her helmet. Trying to confuse me. Just to mess with me, I know.
That was a mystery wrapped inside an enigma. Toe following Grim through the pack, but then everyone falls down, and Toe Jammer somehow free on the outside as lead jammer.
Toe Jammer did not fall down. That was the key. Everybody else did. Toe Jammer with a juke and a spin and a tiptoe.
Did not keep the feet in bounds, though. It's a wise decision, I think. That was very close.
The infield is waiting, like, are you gonna?
Yeah. Your call. Toe shirt whipping off Surly Temper to clear the pack with 4. As Grim playing defense for a moment. And Toe is not going to take the bait, it would appear. Now Toe Jammer back in as Grim clears the pack, completing the initial pass. And Toe Jammer calls off the jam.
All I could see was Kieran's back. I love that for
in a stripy shirt, too.
Kieran in stripes is one of my favorite things to see on a Saturday.
82-26 now. Silent but deadly. Jamming against JB.
Silent but deadly looking to juke to the inside, pushed all the way over the line. It was making me angry, making her life as difficult as possible. Silent but deadly, however, is through. Lead jammer status for Jet City.
JB caught at the front. Combination of Rampage and 26 Nayslayer holding them back.
So much chaos in the pack. Silent but deadly had managed to sneak through, picking up 4 points without anyone seeming to notice. This time a little whiff there from Panty Christ, looking to the outside. Silent but deadly manages to stay in, sneaks through 4 more points on the board for Jet City.
And JB knocks Nayslayer down and clears the pack to complete the initial.
Silent but deadly knocked down, not out there by JB at the end of the jam. Decides to call it off. Be quite done with that. 12-0 in favor of Jet City.
I like
less than 5.5 minutes left.
I like the fact that Silent but Deadly was grinning the entire time of the getting knocked down and then also getting back up. Like, yeah, that was a good hit.
Tiny Danger, Jacqueline Hyde. Both teams at full strength in the pack.
Ooh, Tiny Danger. No need to be held closer, just right through the middle of the pack.
Perfectly tiny hole opened up there by Colonel Battle Slut. That's all Tiny Danger needed to sneak through, picking up lead jammer status.
Jacqueline Hyde also clear on the inside. Tiny Danger is out. Bench says call it. Tiny Danger does. That will take the Kidney Thieves to 30. Jet City 94, and we're at 4.5 minutes to go in the half. Sci-Fi jamming against Toad Jammer. Toe. Oh, called for the forearm penalty. So Sci-Fi now pushing on the inside is another penalty.
Sci-Fi not only on a power jam, but with a 4-3 advantage in the pack for the Kidney Thieves as Kingslayer goes to have a seat in the penalty box.
Sci-Fi forced to the infield.
Jet City looking to run her back, stopped by a 3-wall there at the rear.
So Jammer out of the box, completes the initial pass. The Jammer's penalized on the first pass. They get to do it all over again. Toe now eligible for points, but Sci-Fi puts an end to that by calling off the jam.
But not before putting up 3 additional points for the Kidney Thieves.
And now Crash Smash 'em will square off with Grim.
I hear Crash Smash 'em fans in the crowd. We love that. We love it when the fans get loud. The skaters do too.
Yes, indeed. Crash to the inside. Grim carry up the outside edge. Lead Jammer. 3 straight jams for the Kidney Thieves with lead. Crash chasing after the pack. See, you wouldn't want to be and taking Grim carry to the ground. Grim now up against Bombshell as Crash forced out of bounds. And Shell put a Welt on, heads to the penalty box. As the pack just slowly working around this turn 3-4 with nobody getting free, and finally Grim Carey emerges with 4 more points. Largest scoring jam for the Kidney Thieves.
Crash Smash 'em also through with 4.
Bombshell going low and lifting Grim Carey off the ground. But Grim puts up 3 more, an 11-point jam. Takes us to 98-44, and we're down to the last minute of the period.
Halftime is an excellent time to visit both our merch booth and our charity partners booth there at the back of the arena. But first, it is time to watch JB and Silent but Deadly.
Silent but Deadly out first, lead Jammer. JB a quarter track behind. Giving chase, Silent but Deadly, super fast through the pack. Wow. As
Getting bumped to the outside there by Rampage. Going to be run all the way back to the edge of the engagement zone. Meanwhile, Silent but Deadly dealing with the 3-wall there at the back of the pack. Only a finger went out of bounds, and that's not enough to count. Silent but Deadly back in through the pack. 4 more points in the sky.
And 3 points up for JB, and that takes us to halftime. As Heidi mentioned, visit the beer garden, visit the concession stand.
I see skaters lined up ready to play roller derby.
They look super ready.
I see NSOs dashing and darting, looking to get to their position.
Like, oh my God, I got to get out in the middle with this clipboard. What's happening?
They love it.
If you'd like to get out in the middle with a clipboard, by all means, come volunteer. Always looking for that. Also looking for Jacqueline Hyde and Tiny Danger, but we don't have to look far because they're at the jammer line wearing stars.
My favorite thing about the jammers, they're easily identifiable by the stars on their helmets. Jacqueline Hyde is easily identified as lead jammer by the referee pointing pointedly in her direction.
It's their first day. Tiny Danger forced to the infield. Mini Meat picking up a penalty, heading to the penalty box. And Jacqueline Hyde adding 4 points. Mini Meat has completed the initial pass. Jacqueline Hyde taps the hips to call off the jam before Tiny Danger can get back. 2 more points for Jet City, now 112-47.
That is Grim Carry. That is Toe Jammer. That is a 4-3 pack advantage in favor of the Kidney Thieves.
Pack slow rolls back to the jammer line. And Grim Carry lead jammer. Is Toe Jammer out of the pack half a lap behind? No pack called. Pack destruction penalty called on Georgia O'Keefe. It's Toe Jammer picking up 3 points with the no impact, no penalty, no score. Oh, but then called on a cut track.
Head referee saw something. The jam referee seems not to have. Head referee Shenanigan's going to call that out. Toe Jammer going to go have a seat. This will be a power start for Sci-Fi.
And a full 30 seconds power start as the penalty called after the end of the jam.
4-3 pack advantage for the Kidney Thieves as well. Sci-Fi making an easy go of it, getting through the pack with lead jammer status.
Illegal contact penalty called on Adelaide out. And 4 points up for Sci-Fi.
Toe Jammer out of the box, into the pack, and through. Initial pass has been completed. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi with 4 points in the air, looking to the bench, looking for a clue. Chooses to call it off before Toe Jammer has the opportunity to put any more points on the board. 8-0 jam in favor of the Kidney Thieves.
Silent but deadly. Tiny Danger. Set to jam. In jam number 4 of half number 2 of game number 1 of bout number 5 or something.
That's a lot of numbers, Scott.
It was a lot of numbers.
The number that matters most right now is 222, and that is Silent but Deadly, our lead jammer.
Adelaide are out, released from the penalty box. Jet City back to full strength.
Both teams at full strength. Silent but Deadly is through with 4 more points in the air.
Tiny Danger still trapped in the middle of the pack. Trying to push through, but nothing doing, and not a lot of chance for assistance as the defense of the Kidney Thieves holding on to Silent but Deadly. And both jammers now out. Silent but Deadly calls off the jam.
Jacqueline Hyde once again rolling toward the jammer line, wearing the star for the Jet City Skaters in white. That is Grim Carey. Ready to jam for the Kidney Thieves. 4-3 pack advantage in favor of Jet City. So we've got one Kidney Thief skater. That is Colonel Battle Slut, currently seated in the penalty box. With our incredible NSO volunteers, they are the most popular kids in Derby. If you think you too would like to be popular and have the best seat in the house, email us, volunteer@jetcityrollerderby.com, and we can train you.
Grim Carey lead jammer. Jacqueline Hyde out of the pack as well. As Grim bounces George O'Geef off. Ducks around Nayslayer, calls off the jam. And holds Jacqueline Hyde scoreless. Sci-Fi set to jam against Toad Jammer.
Toe Jammer had a little conference with Bombshell. Fun fact for the audience, Toe Jammer and Bombshell were in fact teammates as junior roller derby players. If you know a child in your life who might enjoy this sport, chat with some of the Mob City punks and Mob City misfits here in the audience tonight. They would love to tell you about junior derby.
Toe Jammer hits the pack literally on the first scoring run as Sci-Fi clears the pack, completing the initial. Toe forced out of bounds, now back into the inside. Taps the hips, calls off the jam. Did collect all 4 points.
For those new to Derby, the jammer does earn the point the moment her hips pass the hips of an opposing blocker. Those points do not go away if that blocker passes the jammer again. Merely the ability to get by them and get out of the pack.
It's good that it doesn't work with the getting it back in front. That would be so hard to track.
It is hard enough to track as a jammer referee.
Tiny Danger, Silent but Deadly. 22 and a half minutes to go in the game.
Super smart bridging there by the Kidney Thieves pivot. Megan Me Angry making sure that those blockers stayed in play. Giving Silent but Deadly just a little bit more difficult of a time getting through. She did get through, however, she's back around in the pack. Some tweeting has happened from Kieran, and that is going to send Nayslayer to have a seat. That is a 3-on-3 pack now.
And a forearm penalty called on Tiny Danger. Power jam for Silent but Deadly. Four points up. Jet City sweeping to the side. And Silent but Deadly is clear with 4 points. Silent but Deadly ducks through. Calls off the jam.
In the sky for Jet City before that call off. 12-0 jam in favor of Jet City. A little more than 21 minutes left in this game. At halftime, we will be having some fun and games for the children in the crowd.
It's a soda bottle toss.
It is a soda bottle toss.
I'm assuming not with soda in the bottle and then opening it to spray it all over the track.
In fact, what is tossed is not at all the bottles of soda. They remain stationary.
All right.
Grim Carey does not remain stationary. They race through the pack and have come through with lead jammer status.
Jacqueline Hyde giving chase. Grimm carry airborne across the corner. And then caught by See You Wouldn't Want to Be a teaming up with King Slaya. And Adelaide her out. Did collect the 4 points, however. A 4-4 tie on the jam, 143.75, 20 and a half to go in the game.
That little apex jump reminded me, I watched the Rose City game last night, and their apex jumps are sponsored.
Really?
And I love that. And I want to remind the crowd that Jet City is always looking for local businesses who want to sponsor us. We're a 501c3 nonprofit dedicating to supporting the community through the sport of flat track roller derby. If you or someone you know own a business that would like to sponsor something like the penalty box or an apex jump, we would love to talk to you. Sponsorship at jetcityrollerderby.com.
Toe Jammer jamming against Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi picks up a penalty, heads to the box. So Toe Jammer on the power jam, rolls through for 4. See You Wouldn't Want to Be coming back out of the penalty box. Will remove the advantage for the Kidney Thieves. As Toe gets past Megan Me Angry. And Toe Jammer calls off the jam, locking Sci-Fi down in the box.
Once again, that is Jacqueline Hyde pulling up to the jammer line. She will have a power start for 10 seconds or less, as Sci-Fi is currently located in the penalty box, but standing up and ready to run as soon as the NSOs dismiss her.
Kidney Thieves starting up at the pivot line, now moving back, and Jacqueline Hyde pushes through lead jammer. Sci-Fi out of the penalty box. 3 to beat at the front. As Jacqueline Hyde works through, sneaks around Colonel Battle Slut. Picks up 4 points. And Sci-Fi back to the penalty box. So another power jam for Jet City.
Jacqueline Hyde finds a tiny friendly lane there on the inside. She's going to sneak through, picking up 4 more points.
Jacqueline Hyde goes from the middle, ducks to the out, calls off the jam, grabs all 4. A 16-point run for Jet City, now 167-75.
Silent but deadly now returning to the jammer line. Going to have a power start as once again Sci-Fi is trapped in the penalty box for at least the next few seconds.
Both packs even on blockers. And now back even on jammers as Sci-Fi released from the penalty box.
That forearm call was on the blocking against Silent but Deadly, not on Silent but Deadly herself. So Antichrist is going to go have a seat in the penalty box. Silent but Deadly is going to do a lap as lead jammer. King Slaya trying to make sure I can still see the action as she comes across. I appreciate her for that.
King Slaya sneaking over to the medics. As Silent but Deadly pushing through for 4 more. And a star pass. Sci-Fi handed over to Megan Me Angry.
Megan Me Angry legally accepting the star, applying it to her helmet. She is going to try to make her way through the pack now as the jammer of record for the Kidney Thieves.
Ooh, Silent but Deadly dips low. Megan Me Angry finally clears to complete the initial pass. Silent but Deadly taken to the ground, calls off the jam. 1 point on that final pass.
Here comes Toe Jammer once again wearing the star for Jet City, squaring off this time against Tiny Danger, who's been a very successful jammer so far tonight for the Kidney Thieves. Both teams at full strength in the pack. Tiny Danger button up against a tight 3 while they're on the outside, manages to sneak through on her own team's side on the end. Tiny Danger emerging with lead jammer status.
I like Tiny Danger using both hands to throw a teammate out of the way to get through the pack. That was great. You are allowed to wing your teammates around as much as you want.
Illegal actions can only be performed against members of the other team or the officiating crew.
Yes. Yoga and Sia in the penalty box, so we'll have a 3-on-3 pack as we start jam number 13 with Grim.
I think Sia's not mad to be over there. I think she's happily discussing the after party at the Bulldog Saloon. It is a retro night for time travelers at the Bulldog Saloon after the game tonight.
Giorgio O'Keefe jamming for the first time tonight for Jet City.
Grim Carey once again taking flight, this time managing to get around. Not an apex jump, but rather a straightaway jump. Grim Carey finding a friendly lane up there on the inside, coming through 4 points in the sky for the Kidney Thieves.
Giorgio O'Keefe also through for 4. Grim Carey calls off the jam as Nayslayer heads to the penalty box.
I said after party, but the party is in fact in the penalty box currently. Just a reminder that halftime of the second bout of the night is last call in the beer garden. So if you are interested in heading over there to get some delicious Georgetown Brewing beer, some Soundbite cider, you've got 13 and a half minutes now, plus a 30-minute halftime, plus a 20-minute. Anyway, there are numbers, but you should do that now.
Sci-Fi Curious jamming for the Kidney Thieves. Jacqueline Hyde with the star for Jet City. And off we go, and out comes everyone for the penalty box. Well,
only half
two of them anyway.
Jacqueline Hyde emerges with lead jammer status. Sia wouldn't want to be is going to chase Sci-Fi all the way to the edge of the engagement zone before having to let her go. Both jammers back in the pack looking to put on points. Sci-Fi is going to get called to the penalty box for skating out of bounds. Meanwhile, that is You're Gonna Be Sorry. Called, I believe that was a forearm. We need our penalty tablet.
We do need a penalty tablet to track everything. Jacqueline Hyde picks up 4 more, 8 total on the jam. Now 196.83 with just under 13 minutes to go in the game.
Bombshell has the star on her head for the first time tonight. Yes, correct.
And an official review called by our friends from Jet City. Sorry, I was thinking it was the other team. All right, Bombshell set for the power start. As Sci-Fi Curious sits in the penalty box. Cheery Bomb stumbling at the start of the jam, and Bombshell Pushing through and ducks around for lead jammer. Bombshell ducking around, throws the shoulder to Megan Me Angry, and hops through for 4.
I appreciate the applause from Megan Me Angry. Like, that was such a good hit.
Sci-Fi out of the box and engaged at the pack as Bombshell pushing to get through. Yoga swings to close off the outside. Bombshell finds room on the inside for 4 points. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi Curious ducks to the inside as well to complete the initial. And a cut track called on Kingslayer as Bombshell finishes the 3rd scoring pass, picks up the 12, calls off the jam, and we are now over the 200-point mark for Jet City, 208.83.
Grim Carey once again taking the jammer line for the Kidney Thieves, squaring off this time against Toad Jammer. 4-3 pack advantage in favor of our visitors in black.
Grim and Toe slow to the line. And then Toe attacks the seam, pushes through for lead jammer. And Grim Carey able to get around the hip. Oh, not able to get around the hip check. Realized the foot went out of bounds and cuts back in.
A hop, a skip, a jump, and an apex leap later. Toe Jammer with a smile comes through with 4 points in the sky for Jet City.
Grim Carey finally completing the initial pass. As Toe is in on the 2nd scoring pass, hops through, calls off the jam, and Grim Carey lands it just before the 4th whistle to pick up 4 points. Sometimes the shortest point distance between 2 points is in the air.
As a matter of fact, I do love it when the skaters can fly, though.
Yes. 785 JB jamming against Jacqueline Hyde. JB pushing towards the front, but Jacqueline Hyde just a step ahead. Oh, JB picking up the illegal contact penalty. That would explain the not lead jammer part.
This is a power jam now for Jacqueline Hyde. Those Kidney Thief blockers making it as hard as possible. Jacqueline, however, managing to push through just past that last line of defense, bringing in 4 more points for Jet City.
Jacqueline Hyde, 2 to beat at the front. Pushes past number 666, Pantychrist, to clear the pack. And taps the hips to call off the jam just as JB is released. Tiny Danger jamming against Silent but Deadly. 8.5 to go in our game. And Tiny Danger is your lead jammer for the Willamette Kidney Thieves. Silent but Deadly in hot pursuit. Tiny Danger calls off the jam. And Silent but Deadly with the 1-point steal.
Sci-Fi making her way back to the jammer line. Toe Jammer making her way back to 12 feet behind the jammer line, because that's how we roll sometimes here at Jet City.
Toe Jammer bops to the outside, grabs lead jammer. Sci-Fi also through, hat in hand. Pops the cover back on. Now that they're on a scoring pass. Toe going backwards, calls off the jam, but Sci-Fi steals 4. A 3-4 jam in favor of the Kidney Thieves. Kidney Thieves now 91, Jet City 228.
Nay, Slayer. First time tonight wearing the jammer cap for Jet City. Shaking her head because she's not real excited at how excited I am.
Always excited for a Nay Slayer jam.
I love a new jammer. We love it when the jammer rotation gets deep. Grim Carry, however, loves it when she sneaks through and picks up lead jammer status.
Nay Slayer clear and giving chase. As the pack moving at a pace, now turning into turn 3. Grim Carry bumped over, knocked out of bounds, calls off the jam. And a 0-0 run.
King Slayer now pulling up to the jammer line. First time of the night. That is JB. They're getting ready to jam for the Kidney Thieves.
Whistle blows, away they goes. King Slayer pushing towards the front, now has 2 blockers in the front.
King Slayer pushes past the last line of defense there on the outside, picking up lead jammer status for Jet City.
Oh, and a penalty called. Back block on 785 JB.
King Slayer with a power jam. Allie being like, yes, do this, skate, make more.
King Slayer bouncing left and right. Gets past Megan Me Angry to pick up 4. Checks in with the bench, and Allie says, just keep going.
Some very old school power jam offense there, lining up in 2 single file lines. Absolutely worked when everybody broke up the pack. 4 more points in the sky for King Slayer, just as the Kidney Thieves jammer is released from the box. Punk Martha Stewart! Martha with her first jam of the night.
Up against Tiny Danger.
Alexa, play Stacy's mom. If you know, you know.
Almost a pivot line start, but not quite.
They didn't want me to be that entertained.
Ooh,
Tiny Danger almost getting to the front, bumped to the inside by Georgia O'Geef. Does manage to get back up because Georgia went null. Tiny Danger is out first, but has not earned lead jammer status because 1 blocker was not passed upright and inbounds.
But still on a scoring run.
The points are the same no matter what.
And this will be a 2-minute jam as Punk Martha Stewart has passed off the star to Georgia O'Geef.
Georgia O'Geef, jammer of record for Jet City, star in hand, must have that on her helmet before returning to the pack to score points.
It's our first 2-minute jam of the game. Tiny Danger forced out of bounds. Checked the foot and pulled it back as Georgia O'Geef also pushed out of bounds. And we're playing the let's roll backwards move.
Better to spend 4 seconds skating backwards than 30 seconds in the penalty box. So
absolutely true.
Smart move on the part of the Jet City jammer there to make sure to come back in perfectly legally. Meanwhile, Tiny Danger here at the front dealing with a 3-wall I certainly wouldn't want to fight.
Punk Martha Stewart as the kickstand now.
Rampage with a smart bridge trying to make sure that 3-wall stays in play.
Tiny Danger bumped to the left, bumped to the right.
Cheery Bomb moving forward, looking to play some offense. Brought most of the pack with her. Georgia O'Geef finally manages to struggle through on the inside.
Georgia O'Geef finally clears the pack with 4 points. If you're scoring at home, those 4 points go to the pivot, number 420.
Tiny Danger almost made it through. In fact, got past the pack before rolling out of bounds as a result of the hit. That did mean she had to recycle once again, come back in legally. All 4 of those points were already in the bank. Good evening, Hurt Majesty. Are we practicing our curtsies in the beer garden?
Sci-Fi Curious at the star for the Kidney Thieves. Minute and 53 to go in our game. As Hurt pushing to the front and edged out of bounds. Now looking to the outside.
Everything Jet City has to hold Sci-Fi back. Hurt Majesty struggling on her own. No offense is quite coming. Bombshell tries for a moment, just sweeping Megan Be Angry out of the way.
And then Bombshell called for the direction of play penalty and chooses the long way around.
I need all the Mob City skaters in the audience to remember your coach just went to the penalty box.
Bombshell's like, I'm going to where it used to be. Oh, it's not there anymore. Hey, look, lead jammer for Sci-Fi.
See what happens when we move the penalty box with 1 bout left in the year?
Hurt Majesty.
Announcers are not the only confused people.
Everyone's confused, other than the visiting teams who are like, oh, that's where the penalty box is? Cool. Sci-Fi running up the inside edge, 4 points for the Kidney Thieves. As Hurt, star in hand, still working on that initial pass. Sci-Fi bumped hard to the ground. And a star pass to Bombshell out of the box, slides through, takes it and runs. 2 more points up for Sci-Fi. That will take the Kidney Thieves over the 100-point mark to 101. Timeout was
whatever
called.
Your favorite time in history is. Just a reminder, they do have touch tunes, and I'm already on it. So
setting it up. It's an all air supply night.
Yeah. Also Taylor Swift, but yes.
Truly fair. All right, Jekyll and Hyde and Grimm jamming for this final jam of the game. As the period clock has ended, game will end when the jam ends. In whatever manner it manages to end. Jacqueline Hyde, 1 to beat, is your lead jammer. And immediately calls it off. So that is our game. Unofficial final score pending, of course. Whistle to end things. Wait for the officials to come off, and then you can slide on down for your free high five once our officials are safely out of the way.
Yes, just a reminder, please do not take the floor until our officiating crew has cleared. Are new, but I guarantee these skaters are not. You all have one more job to do, and that is to come get these things out of my hands.
Heidi's got prizes.
I will stand here until somebody wants these prizes. I will wave at my audience on our live stream at home. Hi, audience on the live stream at home. They take these MVP duties very seriously. I'm now giving the live stream at home my good side. Oh, and you brought trophies. Y'all are so cute. Okay.
Oh my God, they brought their own prizes.
They did. I'm still going to make them get these things out, though, because there's too many of them. All right. Let us start with the people that brought the trophies. Can you tell me who is the MVP blocker?
2-6.
Number 2-6.
26, Naslea.
Yeah. You get double.
Wait, no, this is MVP. Okay. All right, MVP Jammer.
2-2-2.
Number 222.
Silent but deadly.
There you go. Oh, you get 2 because we always bring them, and they brought beautiful. Okay, then overall MVP.
106.
Number 106.
Bombshell.
Bombshell! Okay, Georgia, who's the MVP blocker?
MVP blocker is number 808.
808.
Yogi Nubby, sorry. Yogi Nubby, sorry.
You're welcome. Well, you got one today. And who's the MVP jammer?
Jammer is Tiny Danger.
Tiny Danger. All right, now I was remiss. Everyone has to turn around, wave to the live stream, show them your awards, hang out here for some photos.